All right, it's live.
Okay, thank you so much. Good evening, residents, board, department heads, and attorneys. First, I would like to call to order the regular meeting of Board of Trustees via Zoom live stream on YouTube this Tuesday, September 7th, 2021 at 6:36 p.m. Can you call the roll, Clerk Key?
Sure. Trustee Steve,
Present.
Trustee Norwood,
Present.
Trustee Belcher,
Here.
Holmes is absent, Trustee Brown,
Present.
and Trustee House.
Present.
We have a quorum.
All right, thank you.
Mhm.
Next, we have the Pledge of Allegiance. If everyone will stand for the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States
Which is state.
for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay. Thank you. Next, we have prayer. And today, where is he? There you go. Come on, Mr. Moore, can you lead us in prayer?
So good afternoon, everyone. And this is Father, we just come thanking you for this opportunity to come before you to pray. We thank you for these fine leaders, Lord, that you have ordained to be over your people and to serve with your heart. We ask that you bless this meeting, Father, with the spirit of unity. Father, that we would come together, Father, to serve your people, to come together with the plans and the purposes that you have for this village. Thank you for the many, many blessings you have in store for us. And Father, we ask that you even bless Trustee Holmes and his family, Lord, during a time of need. We ask continue to bless them, Father, and send forth prayers to them even in this hour. We bless you in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen.
Okay, next we have general announcements. Does anyone have any general announcements?
Can I be addressed, Mayor? Mayor, can you hear me?
Trustee Norwood?
Yes, ma'am. I was
Yes.
asking, can I be addressed, Mayor?
Yes, go ahead, Trustee Norwood.
Okay, we're having a Tea with the Trustees event, which will be held this Saturday, September the 11th, at 9:30 a.m. It's in Dalton Park. So the address is 14700 Evers Avenue, and it's located in the Bay Room. So we've been listening to the residents' concerns about the increase in taxes. So we have an expert, a tax expert coming in to assist residents and to answer their questions related to their taxes. And so it'll be this September the 11th. So come out, everyone, and join us with all your questions.
All right, does that complete your report? Your announcement, Trustee?
Yes. Yes.
All right. Is there anyone else that has
Yes.
announcements?
Yes.
Okay, Trustee Steve.
I want to reiterate, we're doing the Tea with the Trustees this Saturday. The biggest important thing I want our residents to know that a lot of times we wonder why our taxes are so high. And then we get told because we don't have enough businesses. But you know, South Holland got a lot of businesses and their taxes are still high. So Attorney Mario Reed has an interesting way of breaking down why our taxes are so high and what can be done to it. So I would ask residents to come out if you really want to learn why and what can be done about it. Because I know the normal thing is that tax appeal, you have to do this, that is, we got to get more businesses. But there's another way we can actually change that with people and different things. So please come out this Saturday to really learn Attorney Mario Reed's view and solution to deal with these high property taxes in the south suburbs. So like I said, I would encourage all residents to come out this Saturday.
All right, is that the end of your announcement?
Yes.
All right, thank you. Anyone else with announcements? All right, next on the agenda, we have the village administrator report. Administrator Brown.
Thank you, Mayor Henyard, and to the trustees. My report will be brief. The department heads, of course, will incorporate many of the things that I have been working on with their reports. One of the things that I was able to do is to submit a proposal for a multi-billion-dollar corporation to build a plant on our 142nd Street corridor to bring 1,000 jobs. We were able to submit that in a timely fashion. We have not heard back from them. For the payment center, I did submit the information to the Secretary of State to get our new and updated vehicle sticker database. We have not received that database back yet, but we hope that once we receive it, we will be able to submit bills to individuals that did not were not previously registered with us. The civic systems, which is the new system that is being brought into to the village. I was able to schedule a meeting so that all of the department heads were able to get an opportunity to see how the system will actually work. And right now, it is scheduled to be completely in place by November. They submitted to us a project plan. We added our processes to that project plan, and the entire process is to be completed by sometime in November. We discussed with Civic Systems as well as our payment processing system a means of doing auto debits. We want to put in place auto debits for individuals, plus payment plan process, as well as an auto renew. I want to really put in place an auto renew for business licenses, for long-term rentals, for permits. We want, not permits, I'm sorry, auto renew for business licenses and long-term rentals. Anything that someone updates on an annual basis, we want them to be able to do an auto renew so that they do not miss their payment dates. We also are updating our vacant property list. We determined that our vacant property list is not up to date. So we're really missing funds by not having everyone that actually has a vacant property registered. So the code enforcement, as well as the police department, work with us. They're out and about in the community all the time. They work with us to identify the vacant properties list. So we were able to update that, and we'll be getting that to the entity that actually builds those on our behalf. Let's see. We were able to submit our application for the American Rescue Act funds to the Department of Community and Economic Development in a timely fashion. We had until September 30th to submit it, but we submitted it earlier than that, and we were able to actually receive those funds, and the mayor will talk about that a little bit more later. So that's basically, well, let me just say this. We were able to reopen discussions with the Illinois Environmental Protection Agency regarding the $2 million loan that they were proposing for purchasing digital water meters for Dalton residents. So we reopened discussions with them to find out exactly where that stood, and we're in the process of looking more into that. I talked with the Illinois Department of Commerce and Economic Opportunities regarding the $2.7 million capital grants that were approved by the state legislature this past spring to see how do we go about obtaining those funds. And we're working to see how we can get those funds, as many of those funds as possible during this next year. And so that's basically it. And I will thank you very much, Mayor, for permitting me an opportunity to give that report.
All right, no problem. Next, we have the engineer's report. Ron Smith.
Good evening, Mayor, Madam Clerk, trustees, and residents. Just have a couple of items on my report. As part of the Rebuild Illinois grant funding, we will be accepting bids for a $700,000 roadway improvement project that will be on September 14th at 11 a.m. The bids will be sealed, open publicly, and read aloud. So we look forward to moving forward with improving roadways throughout the village. In addition to that, myself, along with the village administrator and the public works director, we had a meeting with IDOT, and they did let us know that they had planned on improving 5 bridges between next year and 2027. And as part of those improvements, some of the bridge areas will get a widened multi-use path, connecting sidewalk, and also some updated light. Typically, there is a cost sharing on the village's end for that because of new past legislation. The village won't have to pay for any of those improvements that they typically would have as part of the project. So that's all I have this evening as part of my report, and I will entertain any questions that the board may have.
Okay, thank you so much, Ron.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Next, we have committee reports. We have police, which is Trustee Holmes, but I'm going to give it to Chief Collins because Holmes is out. Chief Collins, are you available?
Mayor, I don't have a committee report, but I do have a department head report. Would you like me to wait until we get to department heads?
Sure, that's fine.
Okay.
All right, thank you. Next, we have Melanie Fitness, Trustee Brown.
Mayor, I don't have a report for Melanie Fitness tonight.
Okay, thank you. Next, we have
you.
public. You're welcome. Next, we have Public Works, Trustee Steves.
Yes, how's everybody doing? Thank you, Mayor.
No problem.
I want to give a report on Melanie Fitness, good Lord, on Public Works. So we will have a Public Works meeting coming up that will be announced. I really want to commend. I talked to Stacey Corral. I think he's doing a great job. We talked. He informed you what's going on. I just want to read into record, and people may not have known this, but this is the stuff that we passed, the new equipment to get purchased at Public Works. We put on there for our purchase of one large front loader, which is $200,000. 2 trucks, 1 dump truck, 2 small dump trucks, and 1 mini excavator. This is stuff that we passed in this budget that just passed. So I want to commend, of course, I want to commend the mayor for putting it forward, and I want to commend the trustees for working together that we passed this much spending in the Public Works Department, because we all know collectively that there needs to be improvement in the Public Works Department. So these are things that we passed. Now, the agenda of the Public Works Committee, we're gonna get into what's been spent, what's been purchased, and what's the process, and what's next, and how far we along. I talked to Stacey Corral today. He said that they still need some more CDL, people who have their CDL workers. So if you live in Dolton and you need a job, please apply for Public Works. There's still some positions opening, because we're in the budget, we passed that they'll hire enough to get up to union standards. So if they have enough equipment, enough workers, we can really clean up this town. So again, I want to commend the mayor for pushing this forward, and commend the Board of Trustees for working with this. And we passed his budget, which was probably the most spending that we did in Public Works in a long time. So I think that we're heading the right direction to get the departments in a great place, in a great spot. And so be on the lookout for the Public Works Committee meeting coming up this month, sooner than later. And then we'll get into the minutia, or the details of the stuff that's been spent, what's been purchased so far, and the improvements that we're making over there. Thank you. That's it, man.
All right, thank you, Trustee. Next, we have Fire, Trustee Belcher.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you, Mayor. For the Fire Department report, for August was a busy month while responding to several fires, car accidents, and medical runs. With the resurge of COVID and the Delta variant, it's been a great team that the Dalton Fire and Buzz Ambulance personnel have been working together. The Fire Department will continue to check the fire hydrants during the month of September as the crews conduct in-service training on newly acquired used engine to service the residents. The new fire engine that we approved in the budget also will take a year to be built. As people see on the agenda for tonight, we do have 3 new hires that's on the agenda for approval, which would be tremendous help for the fire department. So we can make sure, because right now, a lot of them are doing additional dual roles as firefighters and EMT paramedics to service our residents. So that is the report for fire department. The fire department won't have a meeting probably until October, but I will be talking to Chief McCain in reference to possibly giving some smoke detectors and carbon monoxide detectors as they normally do in October. So we'll be putting that together. Thank you.
All right, next we have Youth Trustee Norwood.
Thank you, Mayor. So I've currently partnered up with Coach Green at Dalton Park, and we're working on some cool incentives that will keep the youth inspired. So they have different sports teams over there, and I'm set to stop by and meet some of the youth tomorrow and just ask them what ideas they have so that we can keep them encouraged and to just keep them moving, to tell them to keep up the good work. And then we want to thank them for hanging in there with such a rough year. That's the end of my report, Mayor.
Okay.
Thank you.
Next we have Finance Trustee House.
Good evening and thank you very much, Mayor. Brief finance report. So we will be having the Finance Committee meeting the last Wednesday of this month, which will be Wednesday, September 29th, to review the monthly financial reports. Thanks to our administrator and our finance manager or consultant, Chris, the monthly financials and the notes have been posted on our village website under the transparency tab. They've been updated through June, and my understanding is the remaining months will be posted before the end of this week. So for anybody that has questions about that, please refer to our transparency tab. Our monthly financials are updated and kept current. And any questions, please feel free to reach out via email or a phone call. That concludes my report, Mayor. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Next, we have department reports. Chief Collins, Police.
Thank you, Mayor. For the statistics that happened in the month of August, the department responded to 1,826 calls for service. The department issued a total of 249 traffic citations as compared to the previous month that was 172. So that's a great increase. The activity is increased with the officers. Parking violations, they issued a total of 240 parking citations. Responded to 1,826 calls for service. The department issued the previous month was 194. Criminal arrests made was 41. 5 warrants were issued. As far as the index crimes, we had aggravated assault. We had 8 that occurred, 1 rape, 0 murders for the month of August, 5 robberies, 6 burglaries, 12 motor vehicle thefts, 29 thefts, and 1 arson. Also, we recently added 1 officer to the roster. We are scheduled to add 2 more within the next few days. We had our roof replaced at the police department. Thank you for that. That has been completed. Now we are going to begin the cleaning and sanitizing process of the offices that are on the 2nd floor. We did conduct several walk and talks out in the neighborhoods and got some pretty good reviews with that and collected information from people that were willing to talk to us. And also coming soon, most likely by October, we are developing a Citizens Police Academy. That should be pretty fun. And Mayor, that is all I have to report tonight.
I look forward to that academy. Thank you. Next, we have Fire Chief McCain.
Good evening, Mayor. Thank you so much, Madam Clerk, trustees, department heads, and residents of Dalton. Good evening, and thank you for the opportunity to speak. And similar with Chief Collins, our roofs have also been replaced at both fire stations, so we're very thankful for that. We're also working on a concrete pad that had sinkhole issues from a water main break, so we're also working on that as well. So there's a lot of housekeeping issues that we're trying to get fixed after years of neglect, and they're finally getting done. So I appreciate the mayor and board for this opportunity to get our houses in order. The statistics for year to date through August 31st, fire departments responded to 3,620 emergency responses. 2,333 are emergency medical runs, 794 fire responses, 282 auto accidents, and 211 calls that still need to be coded. So it's been another busy year, averaging about 450 plus calls per month, 15 calls a day. As Trustee Belcher mentioned, one of the vehicles we purchased is here. It's one of our reserve rigs that we're getting in service. And as we continue with hydrant testing, we'll be doing in service pumping and driver training with that vehicle as well as we get in service for the residents and for our guys to utilize. And also, I'd like to thank the board, the mayor and the board for the opportunity to bring 3 members off the final eligibility list to hopefully get approval later on tonight. And look forward to talking to you guys then. If there's any questions, now would be the time. If not, I will talk with you guys later. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, we have Public Works, Stacy Corral.
Yes, good evening, Mayor, Board of Trustees, Dalton residents. Productivity for August 2021. Public Works has repaired 27 street lights. Public Works is working together with ComEd to switch out LED lights throughout the village. Public Works is also working with Mead Lighting, making repairs to light poles and the wiring infrastructure. Public Works has cut down 5 large trees. We have also trimmed 5 trees due to severe weather. Public Works has repaired 2 water service lines, along with 6 water main breaks. Public Works has installed 2 stop signs. Public Works has also been overseeing the removal of the wood chip pile located at 42nd and Park. Public Works has been working on the beautification of Village Hall. Public Works has also painted all of the curbs, repainted all of the curbs in the business district located on Chicago Road. Public Works has performed 2 emergency water shutoffs. Public Works has cut and weed whipped 17 vacant properties and lots. Public Works has performed 0 jobs to the fire department vehicles, 1 job to the housing department, 4 jobs to the police department, and 11 jobs to the Public Works vehicles, along with miscellaneous jobs that have come into the shop. As a reminder, please put your garbage out the night before your pickup, along with any debris that you may have. Mayor, that concludes my report.
Next, we have Water Department, William Moore.
Good afternoon, Honorable Mayor, Village Clerk, trustees, and the village administrator, department heads, and to you, the residents. My director's report for September 7, 2021 is as follows. Mayor, at your recommendations, the payment center has extended hours on Monday to accept water bill payments. We're open from 9 a.m. to 7 p.m. and closed on holidays. This is to accommodate our residents that are working and get off late from work, as well as for those who may not have the time during their busy schedule to come to the payment center. So we're open. So we do ask that the residents please take advantage of these extended hours. And for the month of July and August, just want to just talk about some things that was higher on your priority list, Mayor, which was customer service. I'm happy to say that we have completed customer service training, the entire staff, as well as management. Customer service training will be ongoing. We decide that at least 3 to 4 times a year as a refresher. This will be external, internal training, and the training will continue to consist of being professional, polite, and proficient. One of my goals would be to implement customer service training as a part of our new employees orientation procedures. We have an orientation for our new employees. So we just want to create this working environment of creating a 5-star customer service or resident first culture throughout the water department. One of the examples that comes to mind, actually, I'm happy that came out of the training. Just recently, we had a longtime resident, Ms. Johnson, located on Princeton, who contacted the water department about her water bill. Due to customer service training, we're able to provide professional, proficient, and courteous service, where she complimented the water department and you, Mayor, by stating, and I quote, "Thank you so much for helping me out. Give them, Mayor Henry, my warm wishes and best regards. I see that she's doing a great job with this department." I believe I'll forward that over to you as well, Mayor. So something I was eager and delighted to do was to pass that email on to you, Mayor, because we know that the water building department had a black eye, but we're working diligently under your direction, your leadership, to really bring that department back and we're going to do that. That's one of the things I vowed to do when I came on board. The Water Department had the privilege and have awesome dialogue in the month of July with our landlords. And some of the things we discussed with our landlords was how to put the water bill in the tenant's name and who should be paying the water bill. We also had the honor and privilege to speak to our tenants in July, where we discussed with them who should get detailed account information and who should be paying the water bill in accordance with the signed lease agreement. And we also got an opportunity to speak with the business owners, which was very interesting, to say the least, but it was very engaging. We wanted that dialogue. We want to continue that. Some of the items that we discussed with them was paying all outstanding water bills, adding a point person to their account because we know they're extremely busy and we need to be able to talk to someone there. So we were able to have that dialogue with them as well. Then we had our meeting with the homeowners on August the 26th, where we discussed know where your meter is located. Answering the question, why is my water bill so high? After the meeting with them, we have seen some results. So now when they contact the water department, for the most part, we are all on the same page, speaking the same language as it relates to various items that we discuss. So I appreciate you, Mayor, and your leadership for having those meetings, and I'm looking forward to that being ongoing. Next on my report, the water department, along with the village administrator, Dorothy Brown, IT consultant, Derek Blocker, and Director of Code Enforcement, Brian Thigpen, we had a scheduled meeting with Shannon Zeller with Pet Parent. Pet Parent is similar to ProChamps. For those who are not familiar with ProChamps, at a very high level, it is a property registration program for rentals, vacants, and foreclosed properties. ProChamps is currently being used by the Village of Dalton Housing Department under the leadership of Sharon Harris. So Pet Parent is a program similar in scope. It will allow the Village of Dalton, working with the local veterinary hospitals, to register all pets in the village. In turn, this will allow us to know which residents' pets need rabies shots, and that in turn, those that need to purchase their yearly annual license. I like to schedule another meeting with the team so we can collaborate and get more input and more information on how this system would benefit us overall and benefit the Village of Dalton. And I will give you an update as we progress with determining if and when we're going to going forward with that particular system. And up next on my report, Public Works Director Stacy Carroll and his management team, John and Mike, met with our management team, Frank Perez, as it relates to how we can be more efficient and collaborative and cohesive because our departments are so closely tied. So just to name a few things that we discussed was, work order confirmation, final meter readings, and how to handle expedited meter reading requests, coordinating how and when to bring meter readings back to the meter readers, back to the water department, and to better serve the residents in a more efficient way. And lastly, Stacey and I, we plan on meeting at least once a month via phone or in person, on Tuesday or Wednesday, as our times permit, to continue to work together to better serve the community of Dalton. And finally, we have a new hire, Carmen Carlyle, as a clerk, who came from the fast-paced, customer-oriented restaurant industry. She has a wealth of experience in customer service, problem solving, and she is just overall a friendly, polite, and customer-engaging individual. So she ties right in with our customer service, 5-star customer service, what we want to provide our residents with that 5-star customer service.
Hey, Will.
Yes.
Will, 1 second. Everybody that's on here, can you please mute your iPads, iPhones, because we can hear all your background. Village of Dalton, you as well. So Derek, mute you as well. Thank you. All right, go ahead, Will, and wrap it up.
Yes, okay.
I know you got a lot going on.
No, well, actually, this is the end of it. I just wanted to commend her and bringing her on and just continue with the customer service. And so we just want to welcome her to the team. And Mayor, with that being said, that does conclude my report. So thank you for the opportunity.
All right, thank you so much.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
Next, we have housing. Ms. Harris.
Good evening, Mayor. Hold on one moment. Good evening, everyone. Mayor and trustees, please accept my delay, but I'm having some internet issues right now, but I'm logged in with my phone. So the monthly housing department report for the month of August 1st to August 31st. For the as-is inspections, we received 33 transactions. Board ups was 5. Escrow deposits, we received 26 transactions. Grass invoices, we received 3. Housing tickets, we collected payments for 113 tickets. We also issued transfer stamps for 1 judicial deed. And we also had 40 property tax transfers, 9 quitclaim deeds, 34 rental inspections, 33 rental licenses, 35 regular sale inspections, 2 tax deeds, 6 tenant deposits. We also issued 58 transfer stamps, 2 trust deeds, and then our vacant property registration remitted 66. So we have received a total of $106,863 as far as what the housing department has collected for the month of August. And that concludes the housing report.
Okay, thank you. Next, we have code enforcement. Brian Thigpen. Is Brian on here? I don't see him. Okay, I don't see Brian's name on here. Next, we have building permit. Misha. Ms. Williams, are you on here?
Mayor, may I be recognized?
Sure.
Ms. Williams contacted me earlier and wanted to know if it would be okay if I present her report.
Sure, go ahead.
Okay. So for permits and licensing, they transacted 102 general permits, 24 plumbing permits, 22 electrical permits, 20 homeowner permits, 1 signage permit, 36 contractors licenses, 5 business licenses, 2 liquor tax, and 2 motor fuel tax. So permits and licensing collected $75,041 for the month of August for their department. That concludes her report.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Harris.
You're welcome.
All right, next we have corporate bills. Trustee House.
Thank you very much, Mayor. We have, as usual, a warrant list for corporate bills. So I'll read the electronic payments bill into record first and then the corporate warrant list. So for the meeting, the trustee corporate payment register 191, which is our electronic list, has corporate payments of $66,548.92. Water fund has registered 191 has payments $280,433.24. Total corporate payments on this register $346,982.16. Next, for our corporate payment register, one moment. Trying to get the number. Register number 196 has corporate payments of $1,030,775.23, manual AP checks of $3,358, gross payroll for August 13th, $342,837.26, gross payroll August 27th, $369,329.96, manual payroll checks $557.23. Melanie Fitness Center register 196 has payments of $6,847.02. Gross payroll for August 13th, $945.11. Gross payroll August 27th, $963.11. Total corporate payments on this register, $1,755,612.92. I would motion that we pay registers 192 and 196 collectively. However, I do have 6 items that I would like to remove from this warrant list until we get a chance to inspect the invoices. And the items that we would like to, that I would ask that we take off of this list are DACRA Tech payment of $2,790 on page 5. Mad Bomber, a $2,000 payment on page 7. Delgado Law Group payment $32,589.14 on page 10. Pekarsky and Sons payment $11,700 on page 10. Homer Industries payment $39,650 on page 8. And Kiarika Law payment of $1,000, which was on the list of manual checks. So my motion is to pay the bills with the exception of those 6 items until we have the opportunity to review the invoices that were emailed to me at 5 o'clock this evening.
Okay, is there a second?
Second.
Okay, there's a motion and a second by Trustee House and Trustee Steves. Okay, so,
Mayor,
yes.
may I say, the electronic register of 191, that was the May 31st, 2021 bill run. The bill run for tonight's meeting, that would be the July electronic, would be register 195,
Okay, so we got the wrong number.
It's off. Okay.
which has a different dollar amount than the ones that were read into record.
Okay, so you want to amend your motion, Trustee House?
Yes, I sure would. Thank you for that catch. Chris, if you can, I'll ask if we can have just one moment so I can see if I can locate that warrant list.
Okay, so while you're locating that, I got a couple questions. So you said you want to remove, all I got is page 5. And can you give me the other pages when you find that?
DACRA Tech,
Uh-huh.
page 5, Mad Bomber, page 7.
Okay, pause right there. So, Mayor Bomber. So the Board of Trustees, I don't have the date exact, approved $5,000 to be paid for the fireworks. We only paid $3,000. So we owe them $2,000. So we approved this in the beginning when we first started with the fireworks. So I don't understand what's the reason for removing the $2,000 that's owed to them?
I'm sorry, that's for me, Mayor?
Yeah, you the one making the motion to remove it, so I don't know who else.
The 4th of July festivities ran exceeded $5,000. So there were some additional funds that were paid on the last warrant list that exceeded the $5,000. So that's the reason for removal of this item.
Okay, so what items was overexceeded? Because nothing overexceeded anything. Money was donated to pay people. The only thing that we had was the $5,000. So can you tell me what's exceeded?
What I will do is for that one, because I think this was discussed in the last meeting as well. So I will gather the items and I'll send you a detailed listing.
Yeah, no, it wasn't. It wasn't discussed in the last agenda. So I'm asking why you guys not paying the Med Bomber? The problem y'all had was when it was $7,000 for the 5,000 and the 2 that we owed. So we decreased it to 2,000, which is the 2 that we owe from when we paid them from the beginning. We only put down a deposit of $3,000. So we still owe $2,000 to Med Bomber. So that's that one. And then what's the third one?
Delgado Law Group, $32,589 on page 10.
Okay, and what's the reason that you don't want to pay the prosecutor?
My reason for all of these items is I requested the invoices for these for review on Friday, and I did not receive the invoice until 5 o'clock this afternoon. So I'm just seeking time to review them, and assuming that everything looks compliant, then we'll resubmit it for payment.
Yeah, everything's compliant. We never done anything wrong that you can't pay bills. But when would you be guys paying these bills? I guess that's my next question. So once you review them, hold on 1 minute, Trustee Steve. When would you pay the bills?
It will come up on the next warrant list.
Okay, so you're gonna wait a whole month out before you pay the bills that you're taking out?
I would say my ask would be that we get the invoices a little bit more timely. I did not receive the warrant list until Friday, and I requested this information shortly thereafter. I did not receive the invoices until 5 o'clock, which is an hour and a half before this meeting. Therefore, I did not have the opportunity to review this information. So if had this information been provided earlier, it could have been approved during this meeting. Well, I would have suggested approving it. The board members have their own minds on that one. But my ask would be that we get the invoices and the information a little bit more timely, so that way we can move forward with the information in hand.
Okay, what's the next invoice?
It was Pekarsky and Sons, $11,700.
So what's the reason for Pekarsky? Is it the same reason for not getting an invoice?
Same
Okay,
reason for all items.
Okay, so let's back up because I see where this is going. Pekarsky and Sons, you guys all know that we have an EPA issue here in town. So we made an agreement with Pekarsky. They're the ones taking the mulch and everything that's over there to their yard. And their agreement was that we paid them their invoices. So whenever they do any work, we supposed to continue to pay them, because the problem in the past was we wasn't paying them. So you saying you want to stop that process as well?
Mayor, I'm saying the same thing I said 3 minutes ago.
Okay, right, but I'm asking.
Review the invoice, and then at that time, I would recommend moving forward.
Okay, but do you understand what I'm asking, or why I'm saying why you're removing it? If we got a deal with someone, we're supposed to still continue to pay them.
I definitely heard your statement, Mayor.
Okay, go ahead. What's the next one? You're on mute.
Eureka Law, which is a manual check for $1,000.
Eureka Law. Okay. And is that it? Was that the only one?
And the last one, Homer Industries on page 8, $39,650. That's the final one.
Okay. Okay, got it. Go ahead, Trustee Steve.
The question I have, or the concern I have, is that these questions were asked earlier, and the department heads were instructed not to give us this information. So we could have had, we could have paid a lot of this stuff, but we're just getting the invoices at 5 o'clock. So the goal is to get this stuff beforehand, so we don't have to wait to the last minute. But if the department heads are told not to give us information and to see the mayor, then that's where we're at right now.
Okay, so that's an untrue statement. And if they tell you to see me about something or whatever, you guys can call my phone and get it resolved just like I can. So when we get here, it can't be one-sided that, okay, Mayor, you didn't call or I didn't call. So that's where I'm at with that. But we could play this game, because I don't understand why y'all not paying an attorney, but you guys want your attorney, but don't want to pay the village attorney. But it's okay. So I'm gonna call the roll and we're gonna move forward.
Excuse me, Mayor, may I be addressed?
Yep, go ahead, Trustee Norbert.
I feel, Mayor, that because earlier I was really saddened. As an elected official, I couldn't believe that earlier, because we were given this information on Friday in regards to what was going to be on the agenda. So of course we couldn't ask questions. We couldn't do our research Friday, Saturday, Sunday, or Monday, because yesterday was a holiday. So today, the first thing I did was called the appropriate department so that I can, because my goal as an elected trust official is to make informed decisions. So if the decision is not informed, if I don't have enough information, I feel as if I don't have enough information to make that decision. So when I was called, I continued to call one of the department heads in the village earlier. They wouldn't answer. And then when I called Chris, our finance guy, earlier, I said, hey, I just have some questions regarding some of these items, because I'd like to know what they are before making my vote tonight. And he stated that he couldn't give me the information, that I had to speak with you. Now, my problem with that is this. I'm thinking that the goal is to make it as easy as possible for when we're trying to do this research, so that we can be ready to vote and make the appropriate decisions. So earlier when he stated that he couldn't give me the information, I'm thinking, hey, what do I do from here? Do I wait to the board meeting like now to ask you? But if we wait to now, then we don't really have enough time to make that decision. So I feel as if that's where I'm at as a trustee on the board whose job is to govern the finances part. I feel as if I shouldn't have a problem speaking with any department head to figure out anything that's on the warrant list. Now, it would be better, Mayor, and I think I asked you before, I said, well, hey, Mayor, when some of the things on that warrant list, if you run it past us prior to, or even while doing so, we can say to you then, and we'll be informed, instead of us waiting to receive the warrant list. And now we have all of these surprises. I feel like every meeting that there's a warrant list, I'm blindsided and I'm frustrated because I'm in a rush to do this research to figure out the expenses that were paid out. Who's this to? What is this? So I've seen a lot of, for instance, we've seen the tree cutting. My issue is not paying the tree cutting company. My issue is, do we have a tree list? I know you asked that before. Do we have a tree list? Who's governing the tree list? Can I, as a member of the board, have access to the tree list so that we know? Because residents call myself also and say, hey, I need this tree cut down. Where are we? I've been contacting Public Works. where are we? So I think that in regards to moving forward and making these decisions with the word list, it will be easier if the appropriate departments can feel comfortable with giving us the information and not feel as if they don't want to tell us the information because they don't want to make you angry and they don't want any backlash from making you angry. So that's what I was getting earlier from when I was calling Chris, our finance guy, and when I was trying to call Janice to figure out, hey, what is this? I see this payment is on here. And even with Mad Bomber, the way you just broke that down, okay, but we still have to look into it. But when we look at the warrant list, that was our question. I know we donated 5,000 and I know that more than 5,000 was spent. So again, my question was, okay, how did this work? And when I called Chris earlier, if we could have been given that information, I think that I would have been more prepared tonight in regards to making that decision. So just in regards to my explanation for why I feel the way I feel with some of the things that we're tabling tonight or putting off at the moment, is just, again, because I would like more information before I approve those items. Thank you, Mayor.
So, as you all know, that if y'all have any problems as it relates to not getting information or have a problem, the thing you could have done, Trustee Norwood, is call my phone. But my board don't want to pick up my phone calls, don't want to communicate with their mayor. So how can you get up here and you guys grandstand about information that you cannot get when all you have to do is call me if you can't get something or you're not getting anywhere in the village as it relates to an item that you need addressing? As it relates to Mayor Bomber, we all voted, or you guys voted, because I don't vote no longer, but you all voted to pay them $5,000 in the beginning when we first started to do the fireworks show. We only put down $3,000, leaving us a balance of $2,000 left to pay them. We did not pay them no more than $3,000. So now I'm saying, why will we not continue with what we agreed to in the beginning, which is to pay $5,000 and everybody else covered the difference as related to getting the fireworks show on. It's said that we are here with this. It is said that we can't communicate amongst ourselves as adults, and that every time we come to this meeting, we got to do this. So I'm hoping and praying that my board will get on one accord with me and call my phone, because I called all y'all. So I know you see the missed call from Mayor Henry. Call my phone back and communicate with me so that we can be as a unit and show unity amongst community, because they want to see that. Right now, they don't want to see the division. They don't want to see us going back and forth like we're doing. So I'm all game for that. But I do have something to say, but I'm gonna leave it for my mayor report so that I won't make this longer than what it has to be, because we do got a presentation and several different items on the agenda. So I'm gonna let it be where it's at. You guys remove.
No, I wasn't finished, Mayor, because I know I was referring, I know you asked me a question. So your question was, again, why I didn't call your phone. So I guess my question. Yes, can you hear me?
Wait, no. Let me finish. I'm not done. I don't want to go back and forth, because then basically everybody gonna say something, gonna go back and forth for like 30 minutes. So that's why I'm just making a statement, and then we're gonna move forward, and then we all.
I had a question, Mayor. I just had a question for you, Mayor. So I was wondering if you could answer my question. That's all. It wasn't. So my question was this: you stated that I should call your phone. Are you saying that I shouldn't be able to get the proper information from the appropriate department heads? I shouldn't be able to get the information from them? Why is it that I have to call your phone?
You can get the information from anybody, but I'm saying if you had a problem, normally they call the mayor. But you didn't do that. You said, I didn't know where do I go next.
I called Chris. I called the finance guy today, Mayor.
I don't know where to go next. So if you don't know where to go next, you call the mayor. If you feel the mayor's doing it, why didn't you call me if that's what y'all feel? So
okay, Mayor, I'm asking you this. If everyone is informed to not provide us with the information that we are requesting to make informed decisions as board members on the board, why is it that they're afraid to answer our questions? I'm asking you.
They're not afraid to answer any questions. Okay. That's what I'm saying, Trustee. So what I'm saying is that everybody got the information wrong. So if you have a question or have a suggestion, call my phone. So let's move forward, because I don't want this meeting to be to 1 o'clock in the morning. So you guys made a motion, you made a second. You guys want to remove those items? That's fine. So if you could, Clerk Keith, call the roll.
Clerk, before you call the roll, would you mind if I adjust the numbers for the electronic warrant list for the record?
Yeah, please do.
Okay, register 195, corporate payments of $41,214.30. Water fund payment $339,266.24. Sewer fund payments of $19,304.39. Manual checks of $316,529.72 for total payments of $716,314.65.
Okay, thank you. Okay, Clerk Key, can you call the roll? Clerk Key, waiting on you. You on mute.
I have a
You're on
question.
mute.
Ma'am.
Okay, let us go through this.
I
I just
apologize,
wanted
everyone.
to make sure that the motion is the proper motion before we started
Okay.
voting. I'm not trying to say anything else.
Okay.
I just want to make sure that the motion that we're voting on is the proper motion.
It is the proper motion. Your items is
Trustee House.
removed. Your stuff is removed from the warrant list. So we're moving forward. Chris just made clarity of it. So if you could call the roll, Clerk Key. Thank you.
Sure. 1 second. Thank you. Trustee Steve,
Aye.
trustee Norwood,
Aye.
trustee Belcher,
Aye.
trustee Holmes is absent, trustee Brown,
Aye.
and trustee House.
Aye.
Okay,
Motion
motion passes.
passes.
All right, thank you. Moving on. Next, we have a presentation by Policy and Sustainability Manager Anthony Tildell of the Forest Preserve of Cook County. Mr. Am I saying your last name correct?
Tildell.
Tildell. Sure, okay.
Good
All right.
evening, Mayor
Please, go
Henrod
ahead.
and Minyard and trustees, village clerk Keys and village administrator Brown. I'm going to try and share my screen. Say what? You give me the ability to share my screen so I can show you my presentation.
Yes, Derek, if you could. Derek,
Okay, here it is.
all right.
You see my screen?
It's coming in now.
Yep.
Mhm.
Okay. Thank you so much, Mayor Henyard and trustees, residents of Village for giving me this opportunity to talk to you briefly. I'm Anthony Tindall, the Policy and Sustainability Manager for the Forest Preserves of Cook County. I'm here to talk just briefly with you about who we are and what we provide for free, mostly free, to village residents of Dalton. So, as you know, the Forest Preserves remained open during the whole COVID-19 pandemic. We thought it really important that Cook County residents had some place to go to for respite, recreation, and quiet. And so we worked very hard to remain open for Cook County residents during this pandemic. If you don't know, the Forest Preserves is 70,000 acres of public open space around Cook County. They're a place where wildlife thrives. Are the land managers of various woodlands, savannas, wetlands, and prairies. And these typographies provide homes to very important threatened and endangered species, such as the bald eagle, herons, our river otters, and various other species. We've got 130 threatened and endangered species that we're actively trying to protect. We do that protection, one way is through our ecological restoration activities. So we work to make sure that the lands that the Forest Preserves manages are to the highest level of ecological health. Achieve that by volunteers and by employing hundreds of young people around the county to help do restoration work with us. We do that in partnership with numerous other organizations like the Friends of the Forest Preserves, Student Conservation Association, Audubon, and others. For the home of where Cook County residents, Dalton residents can come and create their own adventure. We've got places where you can canoe boat, ride, where you can bird, have a picnic, do some jogging, running, horseback riding. There are literally over 1,000 different things you can do in Cook County Forest Preserves. We have over 350 miles of trails. We have 5 brand new campground sites. We have over 40 managed lakes and ponds. And we have 6 nature education centers. These are very many museums where Cook County residents of all ages can come and explore the various wildlife that is native to Cook County, the native plants that are in this region, as well as find out more about what Cook County is doing to improve the lives of Cook County residents. We're also the home of the Brookfield Zoo and the Chicago Botanical Gardens. These 2 gems of the forest preserves are on our lands, and we provide them resources and partnerships with them every year. In addition, we're working with the various villages within Cook County to help build healthy communities through our lands that provide clean air, clean water and food, clean water and flood control. And the environmental impact we provide each year is almost $500 million via flood control, water purification, and carbon storage. We're an economic asset to the region, totaling almost $400 million. And we're a place where, right now we're in a place where we're trying to plan for the future. So a couple years ago, we approved our Next Century Conservation Plan. It's a very ambitious plan that's going to help guide the forest preserves for the next 100 years. Almost all residents in Cook County pay less than 2 cups of Starbucks a year to the forest preserves to maintain that 70,000 acres, the Chicago Botanical Gardens, the Brookfield Zoo, and our hundreds of other assets. So we're wanting Dolton residents to come and visit us and take advantage of their taxes to experience nature at your local forest preserves. You can attend one of our hundreds of events that are free and open to the public. And you can learn more about what we have and what we offer by following us at fpdcc.com. Also support the forest preserves by volunteering. We have hundreds of different volunteering opportunities. You can support us by supporting our Forest Preserve Foundation, or you can help by advocating to your friends and families to come and visit the forest preserves. So that's what we're up to. I'm here to, answer any questions that you all might have about the forest preserves, what we're doing in the region. And we're just wanted to say thank you so much for giving us this opportunity to share a little bit about who we are to your residents. So thank you.
I hope that was real helpful for the residents. I like what I saw and what y'all doing over there. That's great. So thank you again for coming on, giving a presentation.
Thank you, Mayor.
You're welcome. Okay, Derek. Derek, waiting on you.
What's that?
So you put the screen back, or?
He had to stop sharing.
Okay. All right, there we go. All right, thank you so much. Okay, now getting to business. First on the agenda, we have old business, consideration and approval of a resolution with IDOT for the alleys and resurfacing project. As you guys know or noticed lately, we've been working with Public Works, Stacey Carrell, who I just adore. He's been putting together a lot of great things that's needed for residents, and we are working on getting alleys done. A lot of residents have complained over the years about going through their alleys with potholes, flooding, or just being able to get in their garage. So we do have an alley program that's structured. I want to give Director Carrell the floor to explain. Stacey, are you there?
Yes.
Okay, go ahead.
So the program for the alleys, we did a survey where we went through all of the alleys in the community, And we selected the alleys that were in the worst conditions and also alleys that were most commonly used in the wintertime by residents who have garages that face the alley. A cost estimate was done and submitted to us from Robertson Engineering. And at this point, we are going over the cost estimates to select which alleys will be paved first, along with the sewers in the alley.
Okay, thank you. Before we open up for a discussion, can we get a motion to approve a resolution with IDOTs for the alley resurfacing project?
I would like to motion that we table this item to Finance Committee until we can get the details on which alleys and kind of some more of the information that I think the superintendent mentioned that he started, but it does not sound like it's complete at this time. I would just like to have information on which alleys that survey, and then it looks like it was $700,000 appropriated for the MFT funds, but I did want to circle and talk with Chris because I'm not sure if I saw it or not in the MFT budget. So my motion will be to table it to Finance Committee.
Second.
Okay, it's been motion and second. Call the roll.
I'm sorry, who's second?
Trustee Steve.
All right, thank you, Steve. Trustee. Okay, Trustee Steve,
Aye.
Trustee Norwood,
Aye.
Trustee Belcher,
Aye.
Trustee Brown,
Aye.
and Trustee House.
Aye.
Okay, motion carries. Next, we have consideration and approval of a resolution authorizing and approving an agreement with Dash for services related to sidewalk repair. Again, this is another one of those projects that residents complained about for years as relates to their sidewalks or going up and down a sidewalk or into their home. I too can relate to it because when my daughter goes up and down the block on her bike, it's a lot of bad sidewalks that need repaired. If you guys want information about it, I'm gonna let Director Carrell, if you can go ahead with the sidewalk replacement.
So the sidewalks around Village Hall and the curbs are in dire need of repair. It was told to me to locate 3 vendors to give us quotes to do the work around the Village Hall, and that's what I did. If you all have the synopsis in front of you, I put it into a spreadsheet format to compare them, and I'm making my recommendations. Also, I attached a justification letter for my recommendations, if you all have that in front of you also. Is there any questions about the concrete?
I'd like to make a motion to table it to Public Works Committee. I don't have this breakdown of the three quotes. All I have is the approval agreement with McMorris Group Concrete Firm. So I'll make a motion to table it to Public Works Committee so we can dip into it, so we make sure we have all, because I know I can't speak for anybody else, but I can't make the vote on it because I don't have the 3 quotes in front of me. So I make a motion to table it to Public Works Committee.
I'll
Okay,
second.
it's been motion and second. Just Trustee Steve, make sure you have a committee so that we can get the sidewalks repaired. The reason why I'm stating that is because I know Trustee House's committee meeting is the end of the month. But as you know, with concrete, we have to get it done right away before weather breaks. Call the roll.
I'm sorry, can you repeat who's second? I heard 2 voices.
That was Trustee Norwood.
Okay, thank you. Trustee Steve,
Aye.
Trustee Norwood,
Aye.
Trustee Belcher,
Aye.
Trustee Brown,
Aye.
and Trustee House.
Aye.
Motion passes.
Okay, motion carried. Next, we have consideration and approval of a resolution authorizing and approving an agreement with for services related to resurfacing of Village Hall parking lots. We've been working on this for the last couple of months. Scott Gilmore, are you there? Is Scott on here? I don't see him. Okay, so basically we are trying to get the parking lot repaved. Currently now, it is leaking in the downstairs of the bank building, and we need to do something about it before it get worse. We got garbage cans down there catching the water, and that's why this is here. We went out for bid for 3 different proposals. So I'm asking the board to move forward with getting the parking lot paved for Village Hall. So is there a motion to have a resolution authorizing and approving an agreement for repaving the parking lot in Village Hall?
I motion for moving forward with the repavement of Village Hall, the resolution.
A second.
All right, there's a
Okay.
motion and a second.
Second. Trustee Steve,
Aye.
trustee Norwood,
Aye.
trustee Belcher,
Aye.
trustee Brown,
Aye.
and trustee House.
Aye.
The motion passes.
All right, next we have consideration and approval of a resolution authorizing and approving agreements with Enterprise Fleet Management, Inc. for services related to the village fleet management and vehicle replacement. Now, is Enterprise on the line? Oh, okay.
Yes,
Hey,
Mayor.
guys. Hi, well, before I give it to you, I guess I'm gonna let Chief Collins speak and tell us what he was in need of, and then Corral, and then you guys. Chief
Sounds good.
Collins.
Okay, can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Yep.
Okay. We have an aging fleet that we've already discussed with the police department. We will be rotating some cars out of the fleet because it is costing us a lot of money in maintenance just in the upkeep for these vehicles. So we are looking to replace these vehicles and have some type of program in place so that the average age of our fleet goes down along with the cost to maintain the fleet. So if Enterprise, if you're on, you have a brief presentation that you can make for the village officials, please.
Okay, next, Corral, before we go to Enterprise. Stacy, did you want to give a synopsis of what you needed?
Yes, the Enterprise program, I believe, is a decent program for the village to change out our pickup trucks and some of our other Ford Explorer trucks that we use to service the village. Not only because they experience a large amount of wear and tear, but not only that, but because they represent the village. And I believe that these departments should represent the village in a, how do I say, a curb appeal. So I would like the vehicles, well, we should want the vehicles to reflect us. Some of these vehicles are outdated and damaged and dinged up and rusted up and on their last leg. And I think when people come through the community and they see things like that, it's a negative thought in their head. So I believe this program will benefit us greatly.
Okay, thank you so much. Enterprise, the floor is yours.
All right. Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, board, everyone in attendance for your time today. We appreciate the opportunity. We've been working with Dorothy and Chris over the last few months, and we're excited to share some of that information with you guys today. We'll get our screen shared so you guys can see presentation.
Just bear with me 1 second. Let's see.
And we'll be able to roll through this pretty quick, and then we can open it up for questions at the end if anybody has anything they want clarification on.
All right, thank you.
Everybody able to see that?
Yes.
All right. So first thing we wanted to highlight is the purchasing co-op, Dolton being a member of Sourcewell. We were awarded the low cost provider for Sourcewell. So that's really going to help us on the acquisition side. It's going to really speed up the process, just make sure that everything moves smoothly when we're acquiring vehicles. And then we wanted to highlight some of our existing partners. We got quite a few on here, but I wanted to make mention of Matson, Tinley Park, Lansing, some that we've just built really successful partnerships with, and we're excited for the opportunity to do the same with Dolton. And this is really just a high level overview. So partnering with us, we're able to handle every transaction, anything you can possibly think of associated with acquiring a vehicle. We handle everything from acquiring all the way through to disposal and everything in between. And we'll handle all the logistics and deliver a road ready vehicle to make sure that the exchange is very seamless for you guys. And then this just really echoes what Chief Collins said. So the key objectives to our partnership is to lower the average age of the fleet. The biggest benefit there is just reducing those costs. I think we can all agree having a newer vehicle is much less expensive to maintain than an older vehicle. And there's a lot of other advantages. You're going to get better fuel economy, new technology, safety features. I know you guys mentioned just the image as well, having the newer fleet. And then with having that disciplined cycle of vehicles, it's going to allow you to have your costs fixed. It's going to be a lot more sustainable for the budget. You're going to know exactly what you're going to be paying for your fleet of vehicles every month instead of having any unexpected expenses in there pop up. And then this is just a very general example of what our open-ended lease structure looks like. When a lot of people think of lease, they think of that typical dealer lease where you got mileage restrictions, wear and tear. The open-ended lease is completely opposite of that. There's no mileage restriction, no wear and tear. We have flexibility with down payment and term. And then the biggest benefit is you will own the equity at the end of the term. So that's highlighted with this arrow here. So in this example, let's say you purchase this vehicle for $26,000. We're going to write the vehicle down to a reduced book value of $6,000. So you're going to get that lower payment in the lease. But then we know at the end of that term, we're going to be able to sell that vehicle for $16,500. And you guys own that equity. The $10,500 is all yours, and you have the option to roll that into the next vehicle just to continue to lower and improve your expense for the lease payments.
So what we did is Jamie and I put together an analysis that has all the light duty vehicles in fleet. This is the fleet profile. So up here on the top left, you see vehicle type. It has all your different vehicle types. It has the quantity of each vehicle and the age. The thing I want to draw your attention to is there's 46 vehicles that we analyzed in this analysis. On average, they're 8.1 years old. So as you can see, that's an average. You have some vehicles that are 18 years old, some are 23 years old. So 8.1 years old, that the fleet is aged. And then down here, this red box, that's your purchase history. So that just kind of shows how many vehicles you've purchased by model year. And then basically what we want to do over the course of the next 5 years, we're going to recommend to replace and phase into this program. So in year 2022, we want to replace all the vehicles that are 8 years old or older or have an odometer reading over 80,000 miles. There's 26 vehicles that fit within that category. You can see all the different vehicle types listed there. In year 2023, we're going to replace all the vehicles that are 6 years old and older, and then 5 years for 2024, 4 years for 2025, and then in 2026, you'll phase out of the last remaining vehicles. So this is a little busy. There's a lot on here, but it's telling a really good story. And really what it's comparing is comparing going out and purchasing vehicles and running them until the wheels fall off versus cycling these vehicles and leasing them with Enterprise. So up here on the top, these are the assumptions that went into the analysis. We worked with staff to create this analysis. So there's 46 vehicles we analyzed. The current cycle is about 9.2 years old from the time a vehicle is purchased to the time it comes out of service is about 9 years. Current maintenance expense is $175 per month. Annual mileage, 10,400. And what we want to do is we want to take that 9.2 year cycle and move it down to 4.17 years. So this orange section right here basically is what we believe that Dolton is doing today. So on average, you have 46 vehicles. You buy about 5 per year, which gives you a capital budget on average of about $176,000. We spend about $96,000 in maintenance, $143,000 in fuel. It gives us an all-in budget of about $416,000, give or take, every year. So what we want to do is we want to look at how does replacing vehicles more often impact the budget. So in year 2022, we recommend replacing 26 vehicles. You would take on roughly $198,000 worth of lease payments. So you can see there's a cash flow advantage compared to going out and paying cash for vehicles versus funding them through our funding model. You can buy 5 vehicles for 176, or you can lease 26 for 198. When we do that, there's a significant reduction in your maintenance expense. The maintenance would go from 96,000 to 60,000. Your fuel would go from 143 to 127, and you'd have an all-in budget that year of 215,000. So you'd be in a positive net cash position of 201,000. What we'll do to offset some of these lease costs, if you look at this equity owned section here, as we're getting into the program, Enterprise will sell any owned vehicle by Dolton, and we can take that equity and put it back into the program. And then if you look at that equity leased column there, year over year, there's going to be more money coming back into the program because you're going to be cycling vehicles out at the right time. And those vehicles are going to be worth significantly more than what you owe on them. And then basically when you fast forward 5 years down the road, your lease payments top out at about 352,000. But if you look at that equity leased column, there's a lot of money that's coming back into the equation to help offset these lease costs. But then your maintenance and your fuel costs, because now all the vehicles are no more than 4 years old, you'll see a significant reduction in maintenance expense, a significant reduction in fuel. And all in over the course of 10 years, the program's going to save about 697,000. And then once you're fully in, that average sustainable savings, which means when we're replacing leased vehicles with leased vehicles, it'll save about 51,000 a year. And kind of what Jamie had said, we'll be driving a fleet of vehicles that's less than 4 years old and just keep turning them over on a more regular interval. That is, does anybody have any questions? That was pretty much all we had tonight.
Thank you. Board of Trustees, y'all got any questions?
One question, this is Trustee Brown. So this presentation, we're talking about leasing all of our vehicles, not just for the police department, but fire and public works as well, correct?
Correct. Everything but like ambulances, fire trucks, light duty, any light duty vehicle that Dolton has, correct.
Okay, thank you.
All right. Thank you guys so much. I appreciate it.
Thank you all for your time.
Thank you. So can I have a motion to approve a resolution authorizing and approving agreements with Enterprise Fleet Management?
I'll motion to approve the agreement with Enterprise Fleet Management.
You want a second? Trustee Norwood motion.
Oh, I'll second.
Okay. And then
Norwood second.
she motioned it, House seconded.
Got it.
Okay.
Trustee Steve,
Aye.
Trustee Norwood.
Aye.
Trustee Belcher,
Aye.
Trustee Brown,
Aye.
and Trustee House.
Aye.
Motion passes.
All right, motion carries. Thank you. Next, moving on to consideration and approval of hiring the 3 firefighters from the current eligibility list. Where you at? McCain, Pete. Go ahead. I'm gonna let you open up. I'm gonna let you open up. This is your baby. So go ahead.
All right. Yes. Thank you, Mayor. Again, thank you to everybody. We've been talking about this for several months now as far as the process, and we're finally got the process complete with the 3 individuals that who have taken the job opportunity to be firefighters with the Village of Dalton. They've passed all their background checks, they passed their medicals, they passed their psychs, their polys. It's a real thorough background check, a real thorough process to get hired full time. And I'm seeking the mayor's approval and consent with the approval of the Board of Trustees to move forward with the top 3 individuals from the list who have accepted a preconditional offer of employment. And that would be Ethan Stratman, Ed Knobloch, and Aldo Gomez. So I'm seeking a vote from the board to move forward with hiring those individuals.
Yes. Well, I know that you guys have been having it kind of tough and rough over there with the loss of the firefighter that just passed. So I too stand with you on your 3 hires, and I'm praying and hoping the Board of Trustees back you up with this. You did it the right way. It came off the eligibility list, so I support you. Any trustees have any discussion? Okay.
Ma'am, I'll be addressed.
All right, go ahead, Trustee Norwood.
I just want Chief King to know that I'm excited because I do know that they've had a heavy workload. So we're excited to bring the new 3 firefighters on board for the residents.
Thank you. Appreciate that, Mayor. Appreciate that, Trustee. And definitely, we have 8 vacancies right now. That will bring us down to 5. So it will help out tremendously, especially with the wear and tear that the individuals have been going on with mentally, physically, with our high call volume, and just some of the trials and tribulations that this department's gone through, especially with the death of Robert Morgan. So it's been a tough transition for me and the department, and this will help the guys with some morale, as well as many of the other items that have been successfully approved through this administration, this board. So thank you very much. I appreciate it.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Thank you.
So can I have a motion to approve the 3 firefighters from the current eligibility list?
I make a motion that we approve the 3 firefighters from the current eligibility list.
Is there a second?
Aye. Trustee Brown.
With a motion and second, call the roll, Clerky.
Trustee Steve,
Aye.
Trustee Norwood,
Aye.
Trustee Belcher,
Aye.
Trustee Brown,
Aye.
and Trustee House.
Aye.
Motion passes.
All right. Congratulations, Pete.
Thank you. Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Board. The next step would be picking a day when when you're available and clerk's available, and sometime in the next week or so, swear these guys in. So we'll get everyone's schedule together and go from there. So thank you, guys. Appreciate it.
All right, you're welcome.
Welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Next, we have consideration and approval of an ordinance recognizing and establishing Juneteenth as a paid holiday in the village of Dalton, Cook County, state of Illinois. So as you guys know, all around the state, everyone is making Juneteenth a national holiday. So I thought, what better way than to show my employees that I appreciate y'all, and we are going to join the force as well. So I'm going to have Shantae Rains reading into record as relates to Juneteenth, and then we will go for a motion. Shantae Rains.
So this ordinance is being read in summary and not verbatim. Save time for you all after this 8 o'clock board meeting. So whereas the village of Dalton is a duly organized and existing village creating under provisions of the laws of the state of Illinois. Whereas the state of Illinois recognizes Juneteenth as a state holiday, and whereas Juneteenth commemorates both freedom from slavery in America and recognizes the many contributions African Americans have made to society and to the world. And whereas Juneteenth symbolizes and advances the ideals of freedom for oppression and liberty and justice for all. And whereas the Juneteenth celebrations are a tribute to those African Americans who fought for freedom and worked tirelessly to make the dream of equality a reality, and further recognizes that the fight for freedom and equality continues today. Whereas the celebration of Juneteenth is inclusive of all races, ethnicities, religions, and nationalities, and provides the opportunity for all citizens to acknowledge a period in history that has influenced and shaped today's society, while recognizing that there is still work to be done. Whereas the village president and the board of trustees desire to recognize the historical importance of Juneteenth and its continued relevance across the nation, and specifically within the village. Now therefore be it ordained by the president and the village of the board of the village of Dalton, Cook County, Illinois, as follows. The village board hereby recognizes Juneteenth as an official holiday in the village beginning June 19th, 2022, and establishes June 19th as an annual paid holiday for village employees. And the officers and employees and the agents of the village shall take all action necessary or reasonably required to carry out and give effect to this ordinance. and the ordinance continues on and is available to be read in completion from the clerk's office upon passage.
All right, can I have a motion to approve an ordinance recognizing and establishing Juneteenth as a paid holiday?
I motion to approve the resolution recognizing Juneteenth as a holiday for the village of Dalton.
Is there
I
a second?
approve.
Second.
Okay, trustee Brown. So
Was
it's-
that Brown?
yes, House and Brown.
Okay, got it.
you-
Trustee Steve,
1 second.
I'm sorry.
Did you say, I think you said resolution, it's an ordinance.
Oh,
Trustee House, I just want to clear it up.
okay. Thank you, Mayor.
All right. Go
Okay.
ahead.
Trustee Steve,
Aye.
Trustee Norwood,
Aye.
Trustee Belcher,
Aye.
Trustee Brown,
Aye.
Trustee House.
Aye.
Motion passes.
All right, thank you. Next, we have consideration and approval of an ordinance regarding public assembly for the village of Dalton. I'm gonna just start this off and then I will give the floor to Chief Collins. So we've been having some issues in town as it relates to groups of people assembling in our town. And we have to figure out a better way to protect ourselves and also the residents of Dalton. So we putting this before you guys to consider having them pull permits in order to assemble here in Dalton so things don't get out of hand. I'm gonna give the floor to Chief Collins so he can elaborate and you guys can ask questions as relates to what we're trying to do. Chief Collins?
I'm hoping that everyone has a copy of this proposed ordinance. And I want to make one thing very clear. This is not in any way to prevent lawful assembly. We do not want to be in any position to stop or prevent anyone from exercising their First Amendment rights. But what has been happening is these assemblies that take place have been without notice, and it is a huge drain and a tax on the resources of the police department. And all we are really asking is that we be notified of the place and time and the approximate number of people that will be assembling. With that, we can properly staff so that we can make sure that not only the participants are protected, but also any other public members or anyone else that may be in attendance but not active participants, just to make sure that we have enough safe numbers to keep everybody safe. Without that notice, we have a very hard time staffing any assembly like this. What takes place is we pull officers from their normal patrols, which pulls officers out of their neighborhoods so that they have to attend to any assembly or any crowd that has assembled. And then we struggle to get officers to actually come in so that we can put them back in the neighborhoods or man these crowds. So all we're asking is just for some notice, and it actually has to be 5 days notice. And without that, the assembly cannot take place. However, with the notice, the assembly takes place, and with there's no other action, it is allowed to take place. However, the chief of police does have the authorization to put a no on the assembly. And if that happens, the chief of police has to have an alternate date and time that it has to be acceptable to the organizers of the event. And not only that, if an alternate date and time and location takes place, it has to be comparable to the original location that was requested. For instance, if it was requested on Chicago Road, at some type of assembly on Chicago Road, I cannot arbitrarily say, no, you cannot assemble here. You have to assemble in an alley on some off street. I cannot do that. It has to be something comparable to it so that we are not trampling on your civil liberties, but we want to make sure that we properly staff the event so that you have enough police officers to keep everyone safe. What that also calls for is that if the event becomes large or too large, with more people or more participants showing up than expected, the police also have authorization to form a path to make sure that any buildings, their entrances and exits are not blocked due to safety reasons, so that there is enough room for any emergency vehicles or any ambulance that needs to come for any type of medical incident. Or if the party has become so large that it is in the street or blocking some sort of street, we have authorization to make room in the street or also block certain streets so that the participants have enough room to exercise what they're assembling for. So again, I want to stress that this is in no way any type of way to prevent a lawful assembly. However, there are some rules that we would like to make sure that everybody abides by giving the police department at least 5 days notice before that event takes place. And I'd be happy to field any questions about this.
Chief, I have a question. This is Trustee Brown. Would there be a limited number of participants on that permit?
There's no number limiting the amount of participants. If it is 25 participants, 50 participants, all that we want to know is that we have the notice that an assembly will take place and an approximate number of people so that we know how to staff this particular type of event. Does that answer your question?
Yes.
Hey, Mayor, if I could be recognized?
Yeah, Trustee Young.
Okay, Chief, so my reading of this, I think there is a similar ordinance passed in Chicago, the large city versus what we have. And I believe there's some ongoing litigation around different components that could lead to lawsuits. Do you know of any other communities or have any additional information, or is my information correct, or can you kind of give me direction on that?
As far as surrounding communities, I'm unaware of the surrounding communities if they have anything in place. However, I am aware of other communities that have a similar ordinance in place, but it requires a gathering of 25 or more for that particular organizer to first pull a permit and also have to pay the salary of the police officers who will be attending to keep that crowd safe. This ordinance does not reflect that. We're not requiring anyone to pay the salaries of the police officers that are there. We're only requiring a reasonable notice so that we can properly staff. But as far as any legalities of it, I would have to leave that up to our attorneys who can probably better quote on that.
I have a question. This is Trustee Brown. Would 5 days be a stretch? Because a lot of these people are protesting, I guess, and they hear about it the day and then they just come out that day. So I don't know, are these things posted? I don't know if they're posted what they're protesting about. I mean, I look up and then you just see a crowd of people, so.
Sometimes they are put on social media, and from time to time, we are able to see what is out on social media, but there's really not enough leeway. Sometimes we see things same day of, just hours prior to. But 5 days would be plenty of time for us to actually properly staff, but it also gives enough time for the chief of police to respond. The chief of police is required to respond within 48 hours of receiving the notice. If some other event, let's say another event is planned for the space that they want to occupy, then obviously we cannot have the one thing going on in the same space that someone has already been permitted for. Or if there are any type of public safety risk poses. So 48 hours, I have to respond, but 5 days should be plenty enough time.
Oh, may I be recognized? I think I'm just speaking for myself. I'm just not in agreement with this ordinance. I think that the recent protests or the recent things that we've seen is kind of been self-inflicted. So I think we in the administration need to relook at the approach to certain things. And if we're worried about manpower and hours and stuff like that, you know, we're spending a lot of money on details right now, on security. It's a lot of money that we're spending right now. So we may need to relook at that. But I'm in totally disagreement with this ordinance because you're trying to manage protests, and people have the right to protest. I understand that's what people, if y'all want to do that, but I'm just saying, for me as a trustee, I'm just in complete disagreement with this ordinance.
May I respond to the trustee, Mayor?
Yes, please.
Yes, go ahead.
No one is trying to stymie the exercising of anyone's rights. And that is one thing that I said twice, that this ordinance in no way stops anyone from protesting. Yes, of course, people have a legal right to protest. If we didn't want that to happen, then that would be something wrong with us. We want people to be able to exercise their rights. However, the police department does not staff with extra people just in case something happens. There is no time on the police department schedule where we have extra people on the schedule. What happens is when these protests or any type of assembly pop up, we have what we have. And sometimes that may be only 4 officers for a crowd of 30, 35 people. That is unsafe. That is unsafe. If anything should occur, how do we protect the protesters, first of all, and how do we protect anyone else or the citizens or any participants who may be against the protesters and things start? So it's not that we want to stop the protesters. Yes, we want people to exercise their rights. However, we just want to make sure we have a safe number of police officers to address anything out there. It's the police officers that have to stand out there and be engaged with this crowd. Anyone else can stand off and be safe from the distance. It's the officers' lives who are at stake here. And we just want to make sure no one gets hurt.
I have a question, Chief. This is Trustee Brown. You say that there are some surrounding communities with such a thing in place. Do you know where that I could possibly look up their information or something?
I'll do some research.
More.
What I was saying was I'm not aware of any surrounding communities around us, but I will do some research for you and I can get that information to you.
Okay, thank you. I appreciate it.
Yes, ma'am.
Anyone else?
Chief, I got a question.
Yes.
I just want to make sure what we're about to vote on. We're saying that if we vote for this ordinance, if in the event that the protesters does not properly or does not come and speak with the police department within the 5-day period or within that time frame, if they were to protest, they'll be locked up or imprisoned?
No, there's no locking up of people. What the ordinance does provide for, if there is a violation, there is a fine anywhere between $200 and not to exceed $1,000 for the offense. So there is no in custody type of arrest for this. So basically it is just a ticketable offense, and we ask the assembly or the person who is the organizer to not have the protest until they notify us within the time period.
Okay, but you said legally, who we speak with in regards to if this is legal or not? Who did you say we would speak with?
That would be our village attorney or anyone else that they may get a legal opinion from.
Okay, got you. Okay, thank you so much, Chief.
Yes, ma'am.
Can I be recognized?
Go ahead.
I just have a quick question, because you stated in this, in your overall summary that they want 5 days, but they have to get a permit. What type of permit would it be? And right now, just on general permits, it takes normally 3 to 5 business days, and they have the right to deny permits. So, and I'm not trying to be in any kind of way throwing shots, but you can just say every time somebody decide they want to protest, have a peaceful protest, if you deny the permit, then they're not going to be able to do it, which I feel is unfair.
May I address that, Mayor?
Yes.
Okay.
I'm hitting the wrong buttons. Yes, go ahead.
So going by the letter of the proposed ordinance, there is no section in there that says a person has to pull a permit in order to have an assembly. But what it does say in the ordinance is in paragraph 2 on page 4, such public assemblies shall be allowed unless the police chief notifies in writing, by mail, fax, or email the person or organization giving the notice within 2 days, business days, after receipt of the notice of the public assembly, or soon as practicable before the scheduled event. So it's not that somebody's requesting a permit and they get a no, they can have the assembly. Let's say they notified the chief of police, we're having a gathering at XYZ location on this date and time. If no other action is taken by the village, then they are allowed to have that protest. Unless a public safety issue arises, or unless another scheduled event is taking place in the place that they have requested.
Okay, thank you, Chief. Just one last statement when you said unless public safety. And the reason that I'm about to make this statement is because I have a problem with something that's going on. When a meeting that was held last week, the streets was blocked off, the village hall was barricaded, and I don't know how many people were out there protesting, but as a regular citizen, not even an elected official, for the streets to be blocked off, the barricades and stuff, for one, it's a horrible look. If somebody is protesting and nobody has been physically harmed or whatever the case may be, then the right to protest, because you're saying that they can give you a notice of 2 days or more, and if the village don't say nothing, then it's fine. But the village come back, or administrator or mayor or whoever make the decisions to come back and say, oh, we having another event, or we don't have a manpower, whatever the case or excuse may be, then the actions of them peacefully protesting within those 2 days happen, then what happens?
May I address this, Mayor?
Go ahead.
Okay. The Village of Dalton has an ordinance in place that disallows the disruption of a public meeting or a public open air meeting. So regardless if you're a protester or just a resident, you are not allowed to disturb a public meeting or an open air meeting. That is an ordinance that is on the books and has been on the books for a few years. So no protester can disrupt a meeting that is taking place, that is put on by the village or put on by, even if yourself, trustee, you had a meeting scheduled, no one can come and disrupt that. That would be against our ordinance. So yes, we are allowed to enforce that ordinance.
Okay, thank you, Chief. I would just love for you to pull that ordinance at your convenience, okay, and email it to me.
Any other discussion? Okay, is there a motion to approve an ordinance regarding public assembly for the village of Dalton? Okay, no one wants to motion it? Okay, it dies. So moving on, next is there anything from the trustees regarding this item, number 18?
Number 18, Mayor, if I could be recognized.
Yep, go ahead, trustee House.
Okay, this item was put on there as the override of the mayoral veto. It was the agreement for a severance package, which was discussed in executive session. It was discussed some at a meeting. It was unanimously voted and subsequently vetoed. So this, I'm motioning that we override the mayoral veto of the severance package agreement.
All right, is there a second?
I'll second.
Okay, so a motion and second by House and motion by Norwood. Any discussion? Okay, so this is where I'm at with this. I stated before, I think you guys are making a bad call on making a severance package for someone that is at will. I think you guys are going to open up Pandora's box as it relates to creating stuff for employees that has been fired from the village hall. A person have not been here 30+ years. Normally when you give severance packages, it's for people that have a tenure of 30+ years at a company or so, or 20+ years. But a person that only been there for 5 years, I think you guys are making a mistake. I think you guys should not overturn the veto. I think you should let it stand. And we're setting precedents in our town by giving this to her. And I think you guys should reconsider once again. So that's where I stand with it. I don't think you guys should create in the amount of, I think it's $7,000, if I'm not mistaken, as a payout to her. That's why I'm at with it, and that's for the record, Clerk Key. Any discussion from anyone? Okay, call the roll.
Trustee Steve,
No,
you said no?
no.
Okay, thank you. Trustee Norwood, Trustee Norwood,
Question for you. Can I ask a question real quick?
Sure, what's your question?
I just want to make sure I'm clear before I make this vote. This vote is to veto it?
No, I veto it. Trustee House is asking to overturn the veto so you can give her the payout of $7,000. As you know, or I don't know if you know, but she did work for the village as the chief of staff. She made $50,000 or $55,000. Then she was promoted to village administrator. She made $100,000. And then she sued the village and they got a payout of, I think, around $50,000. So I don't see why or what's the reason why we will create something that wasn't there. She was at will employee. Once people win office, administration changes, and she was changed when we made the decision to go in a different direction.
Okay, all right, thank you, Mayor. Okay, I just wanted to make sure I was clear on what I was voting on. My vote will be aye.
Okay.
okay. Trustee Belcher,
Aye.
Trustee Brown,
Aye.
Trustee House.
Aye.
Motion passes
4-1, right?
4-1. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you. Oh, next, let's go to Mayor's report. Yay. Couple great things, guys. You guys need an uplift. We received the 1.5 million from the American Rescue Plan. So what I'm trying to do currently now is write grants for small business and the residents. So I'm asking my board of trustees to help me write a law as relates to how we will give the money out to the small business and the residents. Small businesses, I know that you have had it tough as related to COVID and your business been shut down. I heard your cries. I'm doing something about it, and you should see grant money in the near future, like hopefully a month or two, because we do have the money. We just have to create the law. So this will be on the CAL meeting in 2 weeks to discuss, but hopefully myself and my board can sit down and talk about it now. So when it comes up in CAL, you guys can be included and tell us what you think we should do. And that goes for the residents as well. Grant money for you too. I know that you guys was down and stuck and trapped in the house due to COVID, and I want to give you some type of relief. And no, I'm not advocating to give you the money, because a lot of people don't do right by the money. I'm advocating that we actually do something for you as relates to your home. So like say, for instance, windows, new roof. Some of you guys at the homeowners meeting asked me to do driveways or basements due to flooding. So I'm all for ideas or suggestions as relate to us writing a law to give you guys the grants. So Board of Trustees, please work on that. That's your homework, so that we all can be together for the residents and for the small business, because we do have to use it as relates to COVID. Like you have to be affected by COVID in order to receive it. So I don't want people getting mad saying why they didn't get it. But if you weren't affected by COVID and you can't prove that you lost revenue, or like your business was closed, or for a homeowner, you lost your job, or you wasn't working, or you got COVID and you stuck in the house for the 14 days, things of that nature. So I just want to announce that $1.5 million. I'm excited about that. Next, the light program. I'm trying to light up Dalton. Myself, along with Stacey Carrell, we have been up and down the blocks day and night, literally 1 a.m, looking at the street lights. We also have ComEd, which he stated before, going through the town, putting LED lights throughout. And then we also been put up light poles and also doing porch lights and driveway lights. So if you guys are in need of a brighter area, please contact us or send an email. Go to our website, vodalton.org. Again, vodalton.org, and it'll pop up screen to come up. Just put your phone number in, your name, and your email address, and we can get to you. Same goes for streets, alleys, and sidewalks. As you saw earlier on the agenda, which the trustees did table, to get your alleys and your sidewalks fixed, that is still on the table. So if it's an alley that's in need of repair or a sidewalk that's needed, please send an email to, I think it's suggestions4mayor.com. You go to that email address or go to the vodalton.org and send an email, or either one of them. Next, I am so proud to announce about the railroad that's on 144th in Indiana. I have been talking with them, and they have been cutting down the grass. You can literally see through the yard. I'm too excited about that because a lot of people kept telling me that, nah, they're not going to cut it. They just want you to get them a ticket. But when I got in office, I was so adamant of making sure I put something in place to make them do their job and make our community look beautiful. So we made an ordinance, and the ordinance called for them getting tickets of $25,000. And I say, who wants a $25,000 ticket? Because all they was going to do is just pay for the whole police department. I guarantee it, because the way it was written is it would have been block by block by block, and they got acres over there. So the minute they got wind of that, they did reach out to me. We spoke. They basically called a company out, and they cut all of Indiana from Sibley to 144th. And then now we're working on all the other areas. One is 151 and Beachview in the back there. That's all their land too. So they're going to cut that. And then the other area is across from Public Works. So they're cutting down everything that they own, and also the bridge on Sibley. So I'm just happy to announce you guys that I hear your cries. I'm doing something about it. I'm out working despite the bickering, the fights, or whatever's going on. I'm still working and being your mayor. Next is the mental health. The mental health is an organization, and they are over in the old Village Hall. They are working on a grand opening and getting everything together. So anybody that's suffering from anything in town or just need someone to talk to, please reach out. I don't have a number for them as of yet. So if you want to get in contact with them, send an email, and then I'll forward the email to them until they get everything situated, because they do have another location in Chicago that you can go to now. The food market, that's another great accomplishment that I'm happy about. It's over in 142nd in their little shopping center where the new Zion Church used to be. It got the Curtis Exchange. It's like literally down the street from Village Hall. So if you are in need of food and you just need it, you ain't gotta have like qualifications for it, but if you need it, it's a mini food mart, and they give away food for free. But I love the concept. The concept is you go in and you pick your food off a shelf like you would do at a grocery store. That's why I'm saying I love the concept, because most of the time people give away free food, it's in a box, and it's items that you don't eat, like kicks and tricks and all that kind of stuff that be in the box that the kids don't eat. So you can literally go pick what your baby eats, what you eat, and it got produce, it has vegetables and frozen food and juices. It's really cool. So I'm so happy about that. That should be opening soon. They're just waiting on a couple more items to be approved, and then I will be announcing that. And one more thing. Let's see. I want to take the opportunity to congratulate Minister Brown Cook and announce to the village that she has been selected to be inducted into the Black College Alumni Hall of Fame, joining such notables as Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., Justice Thurgood Marshall, and Ambassador Andrew Young, and Oprah Winfrey. So I just want to give some kudos to her for basically being the great African-American woman that you are. So keep doing great things and knocking down doors and showing people that if you can do it, we can do it. So I appreciate you, Clerk Brown.
Thank you. Thank you, Mayor.
You're welcome. Next, just an update. I did talk to Assessor Figgy. I always get his name right. Keggy, Fritz Keggy. He will be at a meeting as well, explaining the tax bill of what's going on, and that should be the 25th, which I have with what's her name? Cassandra Hobart from Thornton Township. So she will be there, and I'm trying to make sure that Keggy is available. If not, if he's available sooner, I will have him there front and center, because his name is the one that's on the tax bills that you're receiving, and he can explain everything that's going on with it. So I just want to make sure that you guys are aware of that. Now, just some things that I want to clear up. I noticed that about a couple meetings ago, Trustee Belcher stated that I overspent my budget, and I have not. And people need to stop grandstanding and get the facts right. You're in a position now where you have to watch what you say and have your facts together. So let this be a lesson and don't speak out of turn. So I want to make that statement because I have not overspent my budget. That's number one. Number two, as it relates to it amazes me how the Board of Trustees called for a special board meeting when we had a regular scheduled meeting for today. What was the urgency? It appears that the Board of Trustees have a hidden agenda and someone's pulling their strings, AKA Puppet Master. Whenever you all asked for legislative counsel to go on the agenda, it did. Then it was removed by Trustee House. Then the Board of Trustees states, and I quote, "We don't have money and we're watching our spending." So the Board of Trustees cut the youth by $50,000 and customer service reps out of the budget. So you guys can find money for an attorney for your personal use, but I thought it was all about the residents, but clearly it's not. We don't need to go down this road, and I'm advising the Board of Trustees to cancel this action and move forward with what we have. We have corporate counsel, who is the village attorney, Shantae Raines. She has been available to the Board of Trustees at y'all disposal, and also the village prosecutor, Jimmy Vasali. For the record, we cannot use the law only when it's beneficial to you. We must use the law when it's beneficial to everyone. Trustee House, follow your recommendations of vetting it through the CAL meeting, as you stated. Vet through CAL meeting before we put it up for a vote. The Board of Trustees have not done this. The Board of Trustees have just put things on the agenda and act as though it was so urgent to do so. I don't like the infighting or the debates or whatever people want to call it that the Board of Trustees are displaying with their mayor. I was hoping that this board would be different. This board will be unified, and this board will listen to the residents and stop with the mess that they have seen over at least my 8 years and then passing. I'm asking again for my Board of Trustees to get on one accord, and let's stop the infighting and do the will of the people. I am also asking and seeking that we go to a, I don't know what it's called. What is like a camp? Like a retreat, and we hash out our differences as relates to whatever it is with us, because I promise you, I didn't see the Board of Trustees doing what they're doing now. So I'm throwing an olive branch out there to say that I'm willing, and hopefully the Board of Trustees is willing as well. And we can actually come to one accord as relates to where we go next. Because right now, we are the laughing stock of the Cook County area, and we have to stop it. Because I see good things to come for Dalton, and I know that we can rebuild Dalton together and not alone. Whatever it is that I've done to any of you, I apologize. And whatever you've done to me, I hope you apologize. But I'll be the bigger person. Sometimes when you are the leader, that's what you must do. You must lead. You must show unity and try to bridge the gap between whatever's broken. I put my head out to all my department heads that has stayed with me through this struggle. And I thank you for constantly coming to work every day and doing your job and doing the will of the people and making sure that they got what they need. And I'm just happy to have a great team that I have of department heads, because without you guys, Dalton would not grow. Dalton has seen a facelift over this last, I've only been in office for 3-4 months, 3 or 4 months. And I will continue to be great. And I will continue to make sure that the people have everything they need. With that being said, I'm gonna leave you guys with that. I will reach out to every board member that's here, and hopefully you guys are ready to talk and come to the table and meet and go over whatever we need to move forward. Thank you again. And I will start with citizens address. Derek.
Mayor, can I speak before? I just want to make a correction to a statement you made. I want to congratulate Dorothy Brown in her accomplishments, as well as the clerk of Cook County. But when you address her in this body as the clerk, we may be confusing the residents as to who's actually the clerk. No disrespect to her at all.
Okay,
But
I will work.
As for the records.
Yeah, I'll work on it. That
Okay,
doesn't
thank
mean
you.
it's a habit, but I'll work on that for you. Sorry, no disrespect to you.
Thank
No
you,
problem.
Mayor.
Anytime.
Is there any, there was a lot of stuff said. Can we clear up, can we respond to any of that?
Well, not right now, because at the end is mayor's report. So right now we're gonna go to citizens address, and then you and I and anybody that's up here can speak tomorrow, go over it. But I'm just making my statement like how y'all have the floor in the beginning, general announcements, y'all committee reports, it's all y'all floor. So Derek, can you go ahead with citizens address?
Okay. Will the new public works equipment expedite the pickup for tree branches? Does the appropriate village staff know the guidance regarding the ARPA dollars, what the ARPA dollars can be spent on or not? What is the plan for use of the ARPA dollars, and will the plan be made public before implementation? How long does the village keep record of old permits obtained by homeowners for work done to their home? I sent 2 emails to the village of Dalton and to Public Works regarding a stop sign and sinkhole from a water main break back in February. Will the hole be fixed before the winter? 142nd and Kenwood Street, light has been out since March. Dips in the street on Blackstone, 150th block. Can someone address for repair? What is the process of getting infrastructure in the village? When will these issues in regard to flooding be addressed? Will there be any money in the budget for removal of tree stumps? Who will be responsible for doing the actual work for the IDOT partnership proposal? When will the west side of Dalton get some lights and those closing bins removed? Can you guys propose grant funding for essential workers who have worked during the pandemic? We need curbs on 144th and Blackstone.
who is responsible for trash cleanup around Dalton, especially along Sibley? Will this be addressed for initiating a beautification effort? And that's all.
Okay, and one last thing, before we adjourn is, you guys' meeting that you had. So I am vetoing that for legislative council. So I want to make sure that I read that into records for the record clerk key. I'm going to give the floor to Shantae before we get off, and we're going to read it. Hold on, read it into record. So. All right, Attorney Trustee.
So please accept this veto on behalf of the mayor regarding action at the September 2nd, 2021 board meeting. Trustees, you will have a copy of the written veto. This veto is just read into the record in summary and not verbatim, that there were multiple procedural deficiencies regarding the posted agenda, including the requirement of the village code that all special board meeting notices be signed prior to being posted. And it was brought to the attention of the mayor and the village attorney that the posting that was taped to the door of Village Hall was not signed by the village president or 3 trustees in accordance with the village code. So that was one procedural issue to remedy. In addition, the meeting notice was not posted for a continuous period of 48 hours. And lastly, absent an emergency, an item may not be placed on an agenda for the village board approval without that item having been first reviewed at a committee of the whole. That's pursuant to local ordinance. It's something that we've come back to again and again and trying to use the cow appropriately. There's nothing in the ordinance that indicates that this was an emergency that required a special board meeting. There's also an issue with the ordinance and it being unenforceable or illegal to the extent that it calls for an appointment. The appointment power is vested with the village president and not with the board. The board's powers are legislative, purely legislative in nature. And they do not include the power to appoint or circumvent an appointment that has already been duly made by the board. So to the extent that it calls for an appointment, it is being vetoed as improper. In addition, the ordinance also encroaches upon the powers of the village president to select and manage the village legal issues and legal matters. It also calls for the legislative council to represent the village, which is in direct contravention of the local code and the municipal code, which vests certain powers within the corporate authority and an appointed official. It is an attempt, intentional or not, to circumvent the powers and undercut the powers of the village attorney and redelegate those duties to legislative council. There has already been a village prosecutor and a village attorney appointed that has established duties. And this ordinance, in effect, attempts to remove the appointed officials without proper cause or legal support. Lastly, the third point is that the veto is being issued in the interest of public policy. The purported ordinance could lead to increased legal fees for the village, and the village should not bear the burden of village board members that wish to retain their own counsel. And so for those reasons, the mayor has issued this veto. You should have a copy of it in full. It is a 3-page document, and these points were just bullet pointed for the record, but there will be a full written veto that will be provided to the clerk if it hasn't already gone out. And that concludes this veto message.
If you guys check your emails, you will have a copy there. I just emailed it to you. Okay.
Hey, Mayor, if I could be recognized.
Sure, go ahead.
Yeah, I would. I think Trustee Steve had some comments he was looking to make. I want a motion that we suspend from the normal agenda to allow Trustee Steve and any other board member of the time to make comments that they see necessary.
Okay. Do you got any questions about what she just read?
No question.
Okay. Is there a second?
I'll second. I'll second.
All right. Call the roll for the suspension, regular business.
So this is to, I'm sorry, can you repeat what you said?
The motion is to suspend the regular agenda to allow times for trustees to make comments to some of the items mentioned within the past 5 to 10 minutes.
Okay. All righty. And it was motioned by?
Trustee House.
All right, and second? Did
Who
anyone
second?
second it?
I trustee Norwood. I second.
All right, thank you.
All right, go
Okay.
ahead.
Trustee Steve?
Yes, there was a lot of things said. I want to make it very clear. We had 2 meetings that was canceled by the mayor. She said we're listening to other people. You throw out all these shots and all these dishes, and then you expect us to want to work with you. Yes, we want to work with you. If we didn't want to work with you, we wouldn't have passed the 98% of the budget that you proposed. We wouldn't have passed $15,000 on inauguration that you spent. So you just say all these things and you put the stuff out here, and you did overspend the budget. $15,000 that was on inauguration. So I'm just saying this is the truth that we're dealing with. So we want to work with this mayor. We want to work with this, but don't put this on us. If the 5 trustees we have an agenda, we're listening to somebody else, that's just not true. You know what I mean? We're seeing what we're dealing with. We're not even going to mention the $1,500 to $2,000 gets spent on the security detail, on the block that you live on. All that stuff is reality. So I'm saying, me and you had a good conversation about a week or so ago, and we agreed to disagree on certain things. The committees, the legislative attorney. So all I'm saying is that I thought you were a trustee for 8 years. You would know that. I told you this when we talked. I thought you would understand what we're dealing with, and we're looking at you the same way. You did the same things. So was it wrong when you did it? You know what I mean? So it's just we're all on one accord, the trustees. We all have to get on one accord with you and the mayor, but it's not on us. It's on the leader of this town. And if you can't, like I said earlier, it's self-inflicted. A lot of stuff is self-inflicted. If you can't look at yourself as a leader and think that we're listening to other people, and a majority of us are older than you, have more responsibilities than you, and we're listening to other people, so we're that weak-minded that we're listening to other people? No, we're listening to ourselves, and we're listening to what's right and what's wrong. I mean, so moving forward, I hope that we can get on one accord, because it's not a good look for the town. It's not a good look for the town, but what other choice do we have? When the first board meeting that got canceled, then we was threatened to get arrested. If you go into the village hall, you will get arrested. Sitting elected officials were threatened with arrest. So this is a reality of what we're dealing with. Yeah, maybe we do need to go on a retreat and sit down, but when we sit down, what resolve do we come up with? Because you want it one way. You've no compromise, and you can't even see the stuff that we have given you. We could have cut, this is the most money that we spent on a budget. Like I read earlier, we spent 10 police officers, new fire truck. We got with $510,000 in public works. We have never spent this much money in a budget. Never. In the last 10 years, we haven't spent this much. But we gave that because it's the right thing to do, and we want you to succeed. Because if you succeed, we succeed. But that gets lost in translation. Then it comes to us, well, we're listening to other people. That's just not the right thing to do. So respectfully, let's continue to talk. We have to continue to talk, but we're not pulling this out of nowhere. There's a reason why we're operating like this. So, and the department heads did tell us, do not give the information to us. We got to call the mayor. That's the reality. So we're saying the department heads are lying. We were told, the department head said, oh, you got to talk to the mayor about certain things on the warrant list. That's reality. That's what we dealt with today. And then you said it didn't happen that way. We all experienced it today. So moving forward, let's figure out a way we can all work together to improve this town. But if the leader can't look at herself and puts it on us and is blaming on us for everything, and if you can't look at us, you can't. There was no money in the youth budget last year. We added 30, you proposed 7, we added 35. But all you say is we cut $50,000. But we put something there that wasn't there. You can't even build on the good of what this board has done for you as the new mayor. Because if you're successful, we're successful. But we're trying to work with you, but it's not reciprocated. It is your way or the highway. And I thought after 8 years of you fighting this, I told you when I met you in person, Trustee Tiffany Henyard will be against the things that Mayor Tiffany Henyard is doing. That's reality. So we're going to have to work together, figure out how to way to work together. That's it for me.
I have a brief comment on there. Just one point on that I'm speaking on is the comment of, I can't understand, I'll be the bigger person being part of that speech, and then to follow that with reading the information that you just read about the board. So I'm in disagreement with that. Separate from that, I'm in agreement with a board retreat, and I will gladly attend. Thank you.
Can I speak?
Go ahead, trustee.
For one, you started off the meeting or your mayoral report stating that I gave false accusations. I gave everything that was presented to me, every receipt that has been presented to the board off of the warrant list. I line item it and asked for a report. Nothing that I have said about your spending has been incorrect. Today, we just had a meeting, and on that warrant list, there were so many things that could have been questioned, but it's all about trying to compromise. You even had us put on there some locks that you done locked us out the doggone building for, that we paying for. Chairs, $2,600 in chairs that we not even sitting in. And for you as a leader and the mayor to get on this forum and say the stuff you said and then want us to respect you and work together with you, you make it impossible because you can't stop lying. You make it impossible for people to talk to you. You said Jason removed the ordinance, for legal counsel. It was removed because y'all was supposed to have a meeting and you didn't show up. When you tell your stories, tell all of it. Don't tell bits and pieces of stuff. Tell exactly what's going on. Our special meeting wasn't important, but you felt that your special meeting was important because it was something that you wanted to do. The nerve of you to get on this forum and say the stuff that you said and you call yourself the mayor is a total insult. So when you saying that towns around are laughing at us, it's because of you, not us.
Ma'am, may I be addressed?
Yeah, go ahead.
I think that it's, our main problem, and I think that I stated to you before, Mayor, it's a lack of transparency and it's a lack of compromise. I think that, as I was explaining to you, I said, well, hey, Mayor, one, my big thing as a trustee is inclusion. Our main problem amongst the board is that you have some great ideas, Mayor. And I said that to you. I said, hey, you have some great ideas. Sometimes, I really like the ideas that you have. But the problem comes in is where you don't include us or you don't run it past the board. So when we have an ordinance set in place stating that, hey, the administration isn't supposed to go over a $1,500 spending threshold, and then we receive the warrant list and there's a $6,000 item that we're unaware of, that's a problem because what I was trying to explain to you is that we were all elected. I understand that you're the mayor, but we all have a duty and we have obligations to the citizen. And our obligation is to make informed decisions in regards to the village. And I'm unable to make an informed decision as a trustee if every time I call a department head with a question, they state to me that they cannot give me the information that I have to contact the mayor. I think that the village employees are working for all of us. It's not a matter of them just working for the mayor. I think that they're working for all of us as the board. So I think that when they're told that they cannot provide us with information, it builds a division amongst the departments and the trustees, and it makes it impossible for us to do our jobs. So I feel like when people say, hey, there's a division amongst the board, or, hey, guys, try to figure it out, I really think it's simple, Mayor. And I think I stated to you before, it's simply compromise. Sometimes you have a way of making the whole game plan on your own without and acting as if we don't have a board. And that's, my big issue. I feel like all I'm asking for as a trustee is inclusion. Hey, we're going to purchase this item over $1,500 board. Or, I'm just letting you all know so that when you all get the warrant list, you won't be surprised. I think that that's my issue. In regards to legal counsel, if we didn't, I was informed that our legal counsel was in our budget. So it wasn't any extra money that we were spending on legal counsel. And then secondly, I feel as though if we cannot have someone working with us or giving us the information that we need to make informed decisions, we're not able to do our job. So we're forced to get legal counsel, because who's going to speak up for the trustees so that the trustees can speak up for the residents when things aren't going as planned, or when we're not all on board. So I think that when I say to you, I say, well, hey, Mayor, can we just compromise? That's kind of where we are. This whole thing is just one big matter of not compromising, Mayor. I think that time and time again, as a member, I'm saying, hey, as Trustee Steve stated with the budget, you created the budget. It's to my understanding that the trustees could have created the budget, but we allowed you to have that. We said, well, hey, the mayor wants to create the budget. Let's see what she has, and we're gonna work with her. But then when we say to you, well, Mayor, the spending is way more than we anticipate, can we kind of meet in the middle? I said, well, Mayor, if we're discussing $200,000 over what we're comfortable with spending as trustees, because we always should prepare for a rainy day. And then you state to me that there's no compromise. Hey, this is the way I want it. This is all of what I want. And I'm not willing to take anything. I'm not willing to meet you all halfway. I'm not willing to work with you all in terms of the budget. But there was a point where we could have said, well, hey, we could have just not voted on your budget and created our own budget. But we didn't. We said, hey, you know what, let's give the mayor a chance to move forward with how she wants to run the village. So with that being said, I really just think it's a matter of compromise. I think that if you're willing to work or include me or work with me, and just tell us. I mean, when we have a warrant list and we have these huge expenses, the residents are coming to us for answers. They want to know why we voted for that. Why did you let this pass? And they want to know a reasoning. So if I call our finance guy who's set out to answer our questions regarding finances, and he tells me that he can't speak with me or that he can't give me the information, that I have to call you instead, that's a problem for me as a trustee, because I should be able to contact any department head and get the information that I need so that I can make informed decisions on behalf of the residents. So I just feel like in regards to moving forward, I'm willing to work with you. I'm hoping that the board can get on one page, but Mayor, I'm really hoping that you could compromise and have more transparency, just informing us, just letting us know so that we are aware and that we're not blindsided. Because again, the board is composed of 7 people for a reason. It's called checks and balances. It's not designed so one person can make all the decisions. We're supposed to work together and come up with a solid game plan for Dalton and its residents. And that's all. So thank you, Mayor.
This is Trustee Brown. I just want to be brief statement tonight. Again, I'm up for the retreat. My only issue is that every time we talk good things, we come back out and those things are just going in one ear and out the other. Again, if you're going to say something, stand on it and do it. Again, all of the trustees, if you call in for information, you cannot get the correct information. Or if you send an email, not to the mayor, but I have sent emails to the village administrator, to some of the employees in Village Hall, you cannot get a correct answer. So therefore, and things that you hear like tonight, there is money in the budget for legal counsel. When we're told it wasn't. When we are told that you didn't have 3 trustees for the emergency meeting, you might not thought it was an emergency. I thought it was an emergency. And I asked for a special board meeting. When things are not done properly, we need to have these things in place. So again, I'm all for the retreat, but my thing of it is, don't waste my time going to a retreat, talking, and then I come back out and the things that we said we're going to do, they're not being done. So if we're going to do this, let's do it right. If not, just scratch all of it and then just continue as we're going now.
Okay, is everybody done? Everybody got it all out? Okay. Got a whole 2-page, but my attorney told me leave y'all alone. So I'm gonna listen. You lucky. I'm gonna listen to that. And I'm gonna say, I'm gonna end it with this. I'm just gonna say this one thing. There is no money in the budget for legislative council. I'm gonna say that, and y'all know it. When y'all do y'all finance meeting, y'all should look at that. There's no money in there for it. So my question to you guys is, where would you be getting the money from? But from the attorneys that we already have. So I'm just saying, if y'all gonna tell the truth, tell the truth. We don't have money for it. With that being said, is there a motion to adjourn? Can I have a motion to adjourn?
Motion
to adjourn this evening's meeting.
Okay, that's Trustee Brown. Is there a second?
Yes.
Who's second?
Second.
House. All right. There we go. Clerk Key, call the roll.
Trustee Steve,
Aye.
trustee Norwood,
Aye.
trustee Belcher,
Aye.
trustee Brown,
Aye.
and trustee House.
Aye.
Meeting adjourned at 9:00 p.m.
All right, thank you. I'll call you guys tomorrow.